most common thing you're going to encounter in any kind of repair before you have to do any painting. This is an example here of a picture hook, which is pretty common. First thing you have to do is get it off the wall. Then you scrape the area clean so that there's nothing protruding. This is an example of a much larger hole. This is actually like a fist hole. I mean, this pretty well covers a fist. It's about a 1/2 inch depression into the drywall. Now for this kind of a hole, you've got to basically put several coats of mud to actually fill it up. We're going to put a coat of mud on here first to put a first coat, and then we're going to put a second coat later on. So we're going to put some mesh tape on this little hole here so that the drywall compound doesn't just go flying in between the drywall and the studs. This is an example of a very large hole. We have to treat this one completely different. Because of the size of this, we can't actually put mesh on it or tape or anything. What we have to do here is we're going to have to actually cut the drywall until we reach the studs on both sides. And then we're going to insert a new piece of drywall, tape it, and sand it. So basically we're putting a mini wall right in here to cover this large hole. So what we have here is we have a stud there and one there. So the first thing we want to do here is we want to pick where on the top of the hole we want to run our line. Now I'm going to use a level because we want it to be level. So we'll just go from where we found a stud over to the other area. That's the top. We'll run another line here. Push the drywall saw through that. I'm going to cut. Now I've reached the stud there. So we'll continue with this horizontal line towards the other stud. Reach the other stud. So now I've reached the stud here. So now I'm going to cut vertically down. Now what we have is we have another horizontal stud here, and so what we're doing is we're cutting right to here because this is not too bad. Now I'm going to draw a vertical line down the 1 5/8 inch stud. So I'm going to try and go more or less halfway, which is I'll take 3/4 of an inch here. That'll give me plenty of room to put a new piece of drywall in. So I'll draw this line down like that. I'm going to start slowly with the knife, just not pushing too much, just scoring down between the two lines. I'll just move the side as well. And it comes out like that. So again, just not too much pressure. Now that we've actually got our measurements, we've got 7 1/8 by 16. So we're going to get a piece of drywall and we're going to cut that out now. We'll measure 16 inches over. Bring that line down. Our other dimension was 7 1/8. So we'll go 7 1/8. Now we draw our line around here. The first cut we'll use the drywall saw, and we'll cut the vertical piece here, which is the 7 1/8. Okay, so I've cut this piece here. Now with drywall, we just bend it down like that. Get our knife and take the inside and just cut it like that, and out comes the piece. All right, with our piece cut out now we just basically insert it into our hole like that. Now you notice it's not like carpentry here. You don't want it too tight because drywall, mud, and tape actually cover all this. So the next step is to screw it in. All right, so we'll put our first one in here. Just want that to just break into the paper and dimple it, that's all. Now we're ready to apply our drywall tape over the seams here. First piece here, down. You can cut this with a scissor as well if you're not used to using a patchy knife to do it. And now we're ready for mud. I'm just getting the mud onto the patch right now. I'm not too worried about aesthetics. Just have to get it on. Just to cover up all the tape. This is going to take 3 coats, so we don't really worry about how thick it is right now. And now we're going to put the final coat on this large drywall patch here. Now, the way we want to do this is we want to do it very tight. We want to just fill in any little cracks or ridges that we've left from the other coats. So we'll just get it on here first. Like that. So I'm going around where the drywall tape was. Spread it out. That. Get it on there. I want to pull fairly tight because I just want to push it right into any little grooves that are left. Because the better you patch it, the less sanding you've got to do. Now that we've patched all this large hole here, what we have to do now is sand it. Now, of course, you always want to wear a dust mask for this, but breathing in drywall dust is not a good idea. I'm going to use a sanding block here. It's mostly to get around the edges. So it blends into the wall nicely, like that. When you put your primer on this, you're going to be able to see all any imperfections that you have to touch up.